Happy New Year, everybody, and thank you for joining of Two Mindsets. Today, we have a very authentic and interesting person, someone that we care about and enjoy speaking to. It is someone that we know very well. But before we get to her, let me introduce my two co-hosts. Izzy, how's it going today?
It's going great, man. Happy to be here, and I'm just looking forward to this interview.
Excellent. And I think it's going to be a fun interview. And on the other side, we have the smartest man I know,
Oh man. Oh, there you go.
RJ. How's it going?
How you doing, man? 1 week down. 1 week down. Another 51 to go. So, all right.
That's right. How has the first week been?
It's been stressful. In my line of work, it's been stressful. So,
Understood.
yeah.
Understood.
So,
All right. So without further ado, she is a rapper and podcast host, and she has been an audio visual project manager for a major network. She also worked as a stage and floor manager or in a television production in another major network. She is our hometown favorite girl. She's our little sister, ladies and gentlemen, Kara Dangerous. Let's give her a hand.
Thank y'all. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be on here with you guys.
Thank you for being
Happy
here.
Happy New Year,
I
Kara.
know I can relate to RJ. It's been a tumultuous week with all the different news that's going on.
oh, no, I'm not even speaking about that, but yes.
Okay.
Yes, that too. No
Yeah,
doubt.
So, Kara, I like to ask our guests, if we pull up to you at the red light, what type of beats are we going to hear bumping from your car these days?
Oh man. Well, a lot of the times I'm listening to playlists that are curated on Spotify. So, I mean, it can be anything from old school hip hop to newer hip hop, but um every now and then I'll listen to the radio, the XM radio, a hip hop channel like what is it, Shady, Eminem's radio station.
Shade 4-5.
Yeah, Shade 45. Sometimes I listen to Sway in the mornings.
Mhm.
And other than that, the other hip hop stations, but I will mix it up sometimes and listen to the techno music, the party music a little bit. It just depends on what my mood is at the time.
Cool, cool. And are there any of today's lady rappers that you're really into?
You know what? I don't know if there's any rappers particularly in this new generation that I just go and seek out necessarily, but if I hear that song and it's nice, I'll listen to it and jam out.
I got you.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to ask too. Like, not just pertaining to the women, but is there any new artists today? But I guess it is kind of hard to pick from what's out there right now, though. But
I mean, I mean, it's like, you know how they do. They'll play the same song over and over. So, occasionally I hear Gorilla on the station, and I'll just, her music has a lot of bass in it, good beats. She has a deeper voice, so it's kind of amps you up. So if I hear that, I'll listen for a little while. Or even Lotto, she get a lot of hate, but I think she can rap. Whether or not you like her songs, that may be debatable, but just as far as rapping, I think she's talented. Um, Megan Thee Stallion, she can rap, but sometimes I'm not a fan of her songs either. But I don't think nobody could ever say she's not good at what she's does as far as being able to spit. I think she does have a talent at that. So, and she also has good beats and everything too. So, no, I try to show love to the females and everybody else too if it's something that I like. I normally like the artists who do sound like new school, but also have an element of old school in their artistry as well. So that's
Yeah.
why I really.
And we don't want to pigeonhole you as a someone who just talks about female MCs, of course, but um, the thing in hip hop in particular that gets the most focus are rap beefs, and we in fact had a whole show on rap beefs. So, how do you feel about is it necessary to push the genre that there be rap beefs, or do you feel like perhaps collaborations are more the way that rap should be going?
I think that hip hop should be organic. I mean, it's just like, I mean, it's entertainment, but some things should just happen naturally. It's just like regular life. If you like somebody, you like somebody. Every now and then you're gonna have somebody that you don't like. And when you're in a competitive career, I mean, sometimes you just gonna it's just gonna spark a battle sometimes. I think the more important question is if the battle it stays in the studio and not become violent. You know what I mean? That's to me, that's
Right.
more the important thing. I think um battles and beefs are one of the things that made hip hop fun. But it can also be an extreme to that. So I think it keeps it fresh and it makes people excited like Drake and Kendrick.
Kendrick.
I think it was getting a little stale for a while, and whether or not you like those two artists or not, it really didn't matter. It was the fact because everybody's gonna bring you to what that discussion is, right? So I wasn't somebody who listened to Drake all the time. I mean, he had some songs that I like, but I wasn't like a fanboy, a fan girl. But you know, sometimes when people get into beefs, it draws your attention to say, hey, I will check out more of their music. You know what I mean? Because now you're really, if you're not a person who listen to the words, listen to the lyrics, now you find yourself listening to it more because you want to hear the insults, right? You want to hear what's drawing everybody. So I think that it does have its space um in the music or the culture.
So, Kara, as far as that beef between Kendrick and Drake, who did you think won that?
Uh I think Kendrick won off of just because he kept hitting him with blows. I mean, if it was a boxing match, I just think he kept going and going and going. Um, Honestly, a lot of people said some of Drake's songs were deeper than people really tried to acknowledge, but it's a word that I'm trying to find. Like, I think Kendrick had got the momentum going.
Mm.
So like,
Hmm.
once it like the Family Matters, I think people said if you go back and listen to that, some of those songs are deeper. I think that's one of Drake's songs deeper than people was giving it credit at the time. But once he came with the what's that song Kendrick did with it's very West Coast. Is it the one DJ Mustard made?
They not like us.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
not like us. Yeah,
At first, I thought the beat was simple. Beat can be simple and still,
yeah.
but at first, it wasn't my favorite thing. But after you heard it a million times, and then it became catchy, and then it's like, okay, now it's just like it just got on fire. And at that point, it was just over with. And then we didn't hear any more from Drake. But they had battled for a long time. I mean, it wasn't just like they did one or two songs. I mean, I think that they both did a good job. And nobody acted like they were scared to come at each other. So um I forgot your initial question, but hopefully I answered it as I was going.
You did. You did.
Okay.
And I didn't know like I said, I didn't know we are gonna get on the music first, but since we here, you
Sure.
actually do music. What'd you say, Deidre?
I said absolutely.
Yeah. So you actually do music, Kara, and you have a couple of albums out, and I've heard all of them, and they are fire. Do you want to give the names to your album so people can go look them up?
Look at me. I'm looking up my own songs like I don't. It's Care Dangerous, Care Dangerous too. Very easy, right?
Yeah. And they are fire, and we're gonna leave a link in the description so that you guys can check out the album because they are fire. I can guarantee you that. And do you ever plan on dropping another one? Because I really think you should. We need some good female MCs these days.
Let's see. The last time I dropped the album was in 2020. I feel like whenever somebody has something to say, that's a good time, to make music. I didn't know if I would ever make music again, but I know that, that that voice has to be inside you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Do it. for me, it's not so much of an issue of age because I feel like I thought about this before we got on. Art is something that, it doesn't stop at any age. Art is just a part of people, is a part of life. So, and then it depends on what you do things for. I mean, I definitely at this point will be doing it for myself and not worried about fame, not worried about this and that. Older you get, that illusion breaks down and it's not so important. It's not important. So, I think there's a good chance that I'll do something.
Okay. And I absolutely agree. I think I like where music is right now because age doesn't matter as much. And why should hip hop and rap be any different than any other genre? I know why it's like that because the powers that be within hip hop want young up and coming because that's kind of like how hip hop started. But at the same time, I think that when you get your talent young, they're kind of ignorant to the game. So you can give them those terrible contracts. You can more or less make more money off them because they don't know the business. And I know that's why it's been orchestrated that way. So, but I'm glad it's going to where it is now, and everything is more independent driven. We've seen the TLCs and we've seen I think what not Boys and Men, but the new additions or the people that got kind of they got on their contracts. I think I'm thinking about yeah, new
Yeah, that
edition.
happened with that.
Yeah, TLC, and there's so many acts that we could think of like that got screwed. So I'm actually glad. So yeah, that should never be an issue as far as you making an album. Because like I say, you are a great MC, and I would definitely love to hear another album from you. So I did want to ask. I don't want to monopolize the time.
No,
Anybody
please
got a
do.
question real quick?
Oh, Kara, I just wanted to say, what is the most difficult part of making an album outside of course, the distribution and getting it out there? What's difficult when it comes to the creative process and getting into the studio for someone who might be looking to go that route? Where are the difficulties?
You know what? I think it just it just really depends on the person. Sometimes I mean, if you already have somebody that you feel comfortable recording with, I think that's a big stumbling block. Like if you're starting out new, you have to find somebody you gel with, somebody the right price, you know what I mean? Because some people want to be in the studio and have a producer who can work with them and kind of guide them along in the process. And maybe they building everything up with that person in the studio, so of course that's going to be more expensive because you taking that person's time. And then but a person like me, I like the I mean, that would be great if I had the money and time to do it that way, but a lot of times I'm creating what I want the message to be about by myself. And so I've already got my ducks in order when I go to the studio. So I think for me personally, the most challenging part is just the the creative process of writing. And that's just because of the way of how I assess myself. And just trying to really figure out how I want to express what I'm trying to say and making it a picture. Um yeah.
Yeah,
Cool.
that see the creative juices. When you're a real artist like she is, I know, and I know about it because y'all know I do music too. The creative energy, like I don't think she or I like have ever had an issue with like the creative juices flowing. But to me, more or less, studio time is expensive. People don't understand. Like they critique your music and they don't understand, and that's fine because when you put art out there, people are gonna critique, but they don't understand the time and the effort and the energy that it takes. And I'm sure the marketing, that's one of the biggest things as far as music. So you asked about difficulty, but do you find that to be true, Kara? Like just the marketing, like because I know you got the creative energy and you're good at conceptualizing, but the marketing, what do you think about that? Like, is it, like your Facebook, your Instagram, like you got to be on point with, selling yourself, and do you feel the same way? Like just getting it out there?
Yeah, I mean, you never know enough. I mean, like, maybe if you went to school for marketing, but like I follow other people who are in the entertainment industry. A guy I interviewed on my podcast, he runs Midwest mixtapes, but he's on there always giving people advice about how to do things and thinking out the box. And I mean, just recently, I'm just bringing this up as an example. He was telling people, "Hey, you should still be trying to sell CDs," and people were like, "Well, who got a CD player?" But he was like, "Well, but think about it's a tangible object." Because now when you get music, they can just delete it, or if they want to re-edit it, they can. But this is something that people could actually physically have, and for those people who have it, you will actually get the physical money. And on these streams, I mean, Snoop Dogg came out and said that he sold a million some records and only made like a few dollars. You know what I mean? So even just physically selling 20 CDs is more money than you would get from selling 100 streams. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
now it's starting to click like, oh, that it's not as stupid as it sounds, right? So
for sure.
um it's a million talented people in the world. Like I always say, like somewhere there's a guy that plays better than Michael Jordan at the same time he came out, but he just didn't have some intangibles that Michael Jordan was able to have, or some kind of opportunities. And I feel like that's the same thing as music. We all know somebody. We went to a bar and they played the piano and they probably better than most of the singers you ever heard. But you ask yourself, why did that person make it somewhere? It could be just as simple as not having the funding to put yourself where you want to be. I mean, I think in today's society, we do have an advantage where we have a way to put ourselves out there without having to have a big machine behind us. But the big machine does have the money to promote. Um, Whereas for yourself, it's going to be helpful if you have a second income, just some more money rotating in, or if you saving money to help yourself be able to afford these promotions. I mean, all the social media platforms have promotions that you can, pay for. And then, I've heard people in entertainment industry say you got to think outside of that. You still got to go hit the ground and go out to these places and perform and go to these, events that come to your town, where people, talk about music. So, if it's something that you really want to do, you got to really think outside the box. I mean, I could have did better with myself, doing more of those things that wasn't just on social media, because it's a bigger world than that. And look, that's a I won't say it's a weakness, but that's something that I could have also done better. But marketing is very important. It can be challenging. Um, so yeah, two heads is better than one, I think, when it comes to marketing and doing it, and also doing your research.
Yeah, and I actually hope that the music industry kind of get back to the hard copies of music. Um, it's just something about it. I mean, even from the cassettes to the CDs, like I miss being able to pop a CD in, and I know it's been talk about trying to get things back to that, and it's people out there that are as far as technology wise trying to create CDs that actually hold um probably like 100 times more data, so that it'll be more valuable in this day and age where you have digital and you can hold so much with just a little thumb drive or something. So they got technologies now where that they're working on and trying to make it affordable, where like I think they said like a terabyte will be on this CD. So I actually hope it gets back to that, because then the independent person would definitely be able to make more money. Because if you really want to go independent now and make money, you're not gonna do it off of streams. You're gonna have to have your really own website and sell it like that. And I know some of the major independent people, they do that. I think like one good example would be like Tech Nine and Strange Music. I think he does that, and a few other people. So I actually hope it gets back to that. And as far as the money part, I always tell people that I know that do music, if I was a dope nigga, I would have been made it. Cause them the people that can make it, because they don't have to worry about money. When you go in the studio, people don't
A lot
understand
of
how
people
much.
that make it.
Yeah,
There
yeah,
have been
but you
people
got
that make it.
Is it you
you got
talking about
most
street
of them,
pharmacists, right?
yeah, street pharmacists. Excuse me.
Yes. No,
So
no,
you
I'm just
either got
making
the most,
sure I understood.
yeah, street pharmacists. So you either got to have ties to the industry or be a street pharmacist. It's hard, man, because like if I tell you how much me and my friend we working on our project now, how much we pay an hour, it may not sound much to somebody that got money, but it's a lot. We pay like $40 an hour, and somebody will probably say that's cheap. Some people pay 100 an hour, like to do some extracurricular and put that kind of money towards it. That's a lot of money if you really think about
Absolutely.
it. They're
For the
going to a
average man,
private.
that is plenty of money.
Yeah, yeah, and it has gone up because I know just a few years ago, maybe about 5 years ago, I was paying 25 an hour. Now it's 40, and he could charge more than that really if he wanted to. You got to think about if you don't make your own instrumentals, you have to buy the instrumental, and it's different levels to leases. They have basic and intermediary. Then you can buy like exclusive, where you're pretty much own the beat. You can do whatever you want with it, and that can range any kind of price. So it's 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 a lot of money that go into
I, I
a
wish I
project.
wish I did see $40 an hour. That's good to
I
me.
know it's probably high where you're at, but
No, I know, but I know what you're saying. That's a good price. Um,
yeah,
I had a thought, but it has escaped me now.
yeah. So RJ, you still there, brother?
I'm here. I'm taking it in. We hit so many good topics. It's like just
I
trying to
know.
find my spot to jump in on. Yeah.
RJ actually like the producer that I interviewed on my show. I forgot his name. I used to talk to him quite often. I don't know if you remember, buddy, because you watched that show. Or is he? I called you your nickname.
That's fine. It don't matter.
Um, um, man, what is his name? But anyway, you look like him. He plays the piano and he makes R&B music. But you look just
Okay.
like
Baby face. Is that it?
no, it's just like
No.
him.
Okay.
I have to send you a photo after and I'll show you though.
Grown man face.
Yeah.
Kara, Kara,
Ooh.
RJ likes LL Cool J's new music. You were talking about
I
older artists, and he was trying to.
I wanted to ask you, but go ahead. You go ahead, D.
No, no, I was
What?
just hipping her to the fact that you dig some of the old school rappers coming back, and they're doing their new music.
Yeah, and that was gonna be a question I had. Like, you said that as far as your artistry, you never get too old for it. But at the same time, your topic matter has to change. Like, well, I think about Snoop Dogg. He comes to mind because he came out, he's rapping about gang banging, which he kind of still does kind of rap about that a little bit. And drugs and stuff like that. And then I think about Jay-Z when he came out, he kind of was doing the same thing. Although Jay-Z hasn't put out anything in a while, is that kind of like as far as being an artist yourself? Is that kind of a difficulty as far as like changing your what you came out with, like your style, or does that evolve over time, or how do you handle that?
That's a good question. I want to say first a thing that I forgot, which was vinyl has made a resurgence.
I'll agree with that too, because my son he's into buying vinyl records, so that is the thing. Yeah, go ahead.
And actually, I'm a member of Spotify, and like, every now and then they'll send a email and be like, "This artist just dropped vinyl." So, people were sharing a meme the other day saying that it skipped over the cassette tapes, and people want to see vinyl come back. So I think that's a good thing. Of course, vinyl is expensive though to buy. I think it's
Hmm.
than buying a CD, and it's probably expensive to put your music on it, but it is nice to see it. I'm
Right.
going to get me a record player soon. Um, and I'm glad you guys brought up LL Cool J, because anybody who know me know I always bring him up most of the time when I bring interviews. Him and Queen Latifah.
Okay.
I'm an LL fan. I have heard his song. I believe it's with Fat Joe or some different people. One of his songs. So I'm happy that when the old school people come out. And and we all heard Andre 3000, being questioned about his artistry too now, and him saying that what is he gonna rap about old men things that he's doing. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah.
so
There you go.
I feel like as a person, if you're a person that grows, those thoughts do come in your mind. So for me, when I go back and listen to some of my songs, I remember, and my brother Izzy would know, and Diedrich may know too, but I don't know if I ever had this conversation with him, but like um I think then I always wanted to kind of have a voice, just like my podcast, where I kind of not a role model, but where I could I have some of the songs where they talked about real life things and things that could help people, or talking about the black culture and the black plight or whatever. But at the same time, I knew it was important to have those club songs, to have songs talking about romance or sex or sexy or whatever. But now when I listen to some of the songs, I'm like, oh my God, did I go too far? Like, you know what I mean? A little shame there. But at the same time, when I listen to him, like, man, I still was rapping good though. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But now being old, I'm like, man, I said that, and I said, and it's not even that I was feeling that way. Because sometimes my brother joke with me and say something I ain't gonna say it on here. And I'm like, well, maybe that's why he was joking with me, saying that he probably can figure out what I'm talking about. I'm like, listen to some of my songs, and I'm like, man, because if you don't know me and you listen to it, you may say, is this girl like this? And it wasn't necessarily that I was like that, but as I am an artist, I'm being more expressive. And so you know, I don't know if I would be as risque now with some of the maybe more sexy songs that I wrote. But I want to, still put out a good message. Definitely. Hopefully that answers your question.
Yeah.
And I want people to understand. I was on Kera's last album, and I did a song in celebration of her because she deserved it. I've seen Kera in her early stages of rapping. I know when I started, and I know I influenced her to get into music. So that ain't no question. But I've seen Kera. Kera started rapping when she was 9.
Yeah.
And she's been fired since the beginning. No lie. And I'm not saying this because she's my sister, but I remember we used to freestyle in my room at that age. I would put some beats on. We had a Casio keyboard. Back then it had the little simple beats on it, and I would play to it and we would freestyle. Then as we got older, that was like when she was 9, so I had to be maybe, I don't know how much older. I think maybe 14. I was 14, she was 9, and then as I got older, became an older teenager, and she got a little older. When me and my homeboys would, like I said in the song, as my homeboys would come over, we'll just be chilling. That she'll be freestyling with us, and always held her own ground. So she can really toot her horn. Kera is a true MC. I'm gonna get her that, even if she won't say it. She is a true MC. So I know even at whatever age she's at now, she can still put some concepts out there to move the people and really kill an instrumental. So I've seen where she come from, and I've seen her accomplish so much in her life, and I know that she spoke it into existence. And Kara, you may not know this, but you wrote on a mirror that you was going to accomplish certain things. And
Well, yeah. I forgot about that.
yeah, when you moved from home though, you left the mirror behind, but I salvaged it and I still got it. I've been holding on for it to you just in case you ever want it. So
For
I'm just
real.
yeah, I got it. It's in my room right now.
And it still got the words on it.
It still got the words on it. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah, we got to
They
see
faded
that.
out a bit. I still have it, and I've seen you come out of high school, um, go to school, accomplish that, come back and work in the places you've had great jobs since you started, and you've spoken all this into existence. The music, your career, and I just want to let you know, whatever you put your mind to, I know you can do it. And you, as my little sister, you have actually inspired me in my life plenty of times. The same way I inspired you to do music, you have inspired me so much. Whether we argue or not,
Yeah,
'cause we
Jerker.
do
Yeah,
argue.
Jerker.
I know regardless of whatever we have been through, me and Kara have always been tight, and I really believe she can do whatever she put her mind to, and I don't say that lightly. So I just wanted to say that.
I
I
think you're
agree.
gonna need water now.
Say what?
Yeah, I'm gonna
I
need some
mean,
water now. Thank you. I appreciate that.
it's the truth though. I've seen you grow from into what you are now. So
No
Well,
I
thank
doubt.
you.
mean,
Being a child, it's so easy. It was for me. It was easier to be optimistic, and you have to keep that childlike
yes,
feeling.
you do.
Work will beat you down, or it can just be gloomy, even if it ain't be you particularly down. Seeing and the changes and all that. So you really have to. I try to sometimes sit myself down and say, remember those promises you made to yourself when you were young. Some of them I can't even remember, but I remember a few.
Hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Very
So
cool.
not to monopolize, but Kara, if you
Wait,
could,
D Hill. This
yeah,
one side. Is this like a episode of Is He Interrupted? Is that what we're doing right now?
Hey,
Is that
yeah.
I,
this?
I'm loving it.
Oh,
I'm loving
oh,
it. I am
Oh,
loving
okay.
it.
I'm not
what?
trying to
And this is
monopolize.
this is what I wanted to happen.
Well, it's
Yeah.
funny because I will bring you guys on my podcast too.
Oh, that would be awesome.
Okay.
Want to
That would
come
be
on?
nice. But
Go
yeah,
ahead.
I'm not trying to monopolize, but I
I'm
had
just
been
messing with you, brother.
anticipating. Yeah, I know, but I had been anticipating this, and I just know her, so I know certain things to ask. But yeah, Kara, I did want to ask if you could work dead or alive. This is a dead or alive question. If you could work with
Mm.
anybody in the industry, who would it be? And I have my guess, but who would it be?
Dead or alive in the industry?
Mm.
Ooh, that's a good question. Oh,
Mm.
You
y'all
want to hear
better.
my guess first?
Well, hold on, Diedrich or RJ, y'all better be coming up with a better question than that because that's a good question. Well, RJ had to. Dead or alive, who would I want to work with? You think you know who I would pick?
I think I do.
Oh,
Do
because
you? Prince.
Prince. You know what?
Wow.
I think you're more of a Prince fan. I'm more of a Michael Jackson fan.
Okay.
But I do love Prince though. I like Prince. Either way, you couldn't go wrong.
Yeah.
Um, but I may have picked Prince because I'm a sucker for a guitar, so I probably probably what I mean. So we probably would have jammed out. Not a bad choice. Oh, but you know who I love, but I don't know if a song with us would be great, but I'm a big Tina Turner fan, so
That
Mm.
would be
Oh,
nice.
okay.
and she's really the black rock girl, so that would have been awesome because nobody did the stage like she did it, and I regret not ever being able to see her perform, but I did go see her play, so
Right.
Don't you? Yeah, I'm the same way, Kerry. It's so many legends that I wanted to meet, man. That you know that I never get to meet. We've had so many in just our lifetime to just pass. I mean, that I really wanted to work with, whether they're singers or rappers. I mean, Michael Jackson and Prince. Shoot, Tupac. I mean, it's just so many I can name that I just wanted to just meet. Do you ever think about that yourself? Like all our legends are passing away. It seemed like.
older, so yeah, once Tina Turner died, I mean, I'm like, well, Michael Jackson, I still remember when he died when I was at work. I still remember what I was doing. I still remember what studio I was in. I remember just like I couldn't believe it. I'm looking at my coworker like Michael Jackson just died, and when people aren't in shock as I'm like, I just said Michael Jackson just died. You know what I mean? Like you know what I mean? So I remember when Whitney Houston died, I was out in New York at a restaurant, distraught, like even with
That's
everything
another one.
going on. I mean, I had prayed for her because I wanted her to get better with her
Wow.
situation, and that made me sick. That was a hard ride home. My
Yeah.
friend wanted to hear her music. I have anxiety. Like when somebody died, I was the opposite. I didn't want to hear her music at the time. It was too much. But when you in somebody else's car, I had to just go with it. You know what I mean? That was tough. But yeah, a lot of great great artists that you can choose from work with. If somebody who's alive that I really like their music is if I could have a man sing on a song, probably would be Al Green. So
Mm,
soulful,
Hmm.
yeah.
powerful voice. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
I
I
like.
ain't know he was still alive.
Yeah.
Al Green still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive. I think of when I was little, Dad used to play Al Green when he take me to school. So, he just became somebody I like. You know, he got a lot of good episodes of him on Soul Train. You know who Al Green is. He
Oh yeah.
good.
He's a reverend now, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. I love Al Green.
Yeah.
Uh, Luther Vandross, when he died, oh man, I never got to see him perform live.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Whitney Houston and Prince. Those are the three that I regret most never going to their concert. So I try to go to every concert I can of people that I really admire now. So yeah, but those really hurt me. Yeah.
What about you, RJ?
Prince definitely hurt me, especially since he did like one of his last concerts here in Atlanta, and I was gonna go to the concert, and I was like, nah, I'll catch him, I'll catch
Next
him
time.
again, and that was his last concert. That one
Yeah.
hurt me the most. I,
Yeah.
I'm a big Prince fan. Michael Jackson loved him too, but yeah, definitely Prince. Prince, and I definitely got to catch Stevie Wonder because he's a big. I love Stevie Wonder also. I was gonna ask, as far as like you being in the industry, and it mentioned that you went to school. So did you go to school particularly, um, for what you're doing right now, or is this something that you kind of like molded yourself into?
Well, I went to school at Full Sail, which is I call it an entertainment school. They have film, they have entertainment business, they have gaming. They have audio engineering. So I went for audio engineering. They have other things now too, creative writing, just anything dealing with the arts basically. So, basically it was to learn how to be an engineer in the studio. So I
Okay,
could have worked in the music business, but I did not. I ended up going into television. I mean, sometimes you think you're gonna go one way and you go another. So, but I
right.
also had love for television things as well. Um, so I mean, I guess it makes sense as also.
So it did prepare you in essence for what you're kind of doing now. Then, yeah.
Yeah, I'm honestly kind of happy that um I mean, I think I was talented enough in areas to have made it somewhere as with the music, but I'm sort of happy that it didn't in a way, not
Mm.
all the way, but just because even though I've had a good head on my shoulders, I can see myself if I didn't take the right path, spinning out of control like some of these other people do too. You'll say what you won't do and what you will do, but it's such a when people are young and then they start feeling like they're on top of the world and all these things are coming their way, you got to really keep a good head on your shoulder. Not saying that I would have spun out, but I'm just seeing how you could turn out and all the things that you hear coming out and things that we knew before they came out. You know, I feel I feel safe with where I am, basically.
Good. Yeah. Cool.
And real quick, I want to say too, RJ, I remembered I was actually going to see Nipsey Hussle
Yeah.
week before he died. He was coming to Connecticut, and
Ah.
and that weekend he actually died. That he was
Yeah.
supposed to, I think. Yeah, so that was crazy too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does kind of bother me too. And I wasn't a big Nipsey Hussle music fan, but I liked his business savvy. And that's why I followed him like on social media and stuff like that. So when he got killed, that really that bothered me. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's another one. But
Uh,
it's so many huh?
that bothered me too, and I actually listened to his music before he died, obviously, and after, so that it didn't feel good either.
Mm.
Yeah.
I didn't know too much about Nipsey Hussle before, his life was taken, but very good music, and he seemed to be one of those guys doing a lot of positive stuff. So yeah, definitely a terrible loss.
Yes, it was.
Kara, you were talking about Full Sail and you studied audio engineering there. Is that right? So
Yeah.
you use those skills that you garnered there, and you eventually ended up at ESPN,
Mhm.
um, rubbing shoulders with a lot of powerful people and a lot of popular people. Tell us about your journey getting there and while you were there.
Yeah, I was there for quite a while, 11 years
Hmm.
at the mothership. And I
Baby
started,
Bubba.
you say what?
I said baby Bubba when you said mothership.
Oh, yeah.
No, yeah,
Uh,
definitely. I'm sorry.
it's
Parliament.
okay. So I started off in local news, which was cool because I mean, not to go back, but I had a lot of love for the local news just growing up watching it. And one of the best anchors that I ever seen in my life was Tina Hitt. She's a Jamaican icon. She passed away a couple of years ago, but as far as the television side, she's one of those people who made me want to even do my podcast. She was such a classy woman, such a classic black woman, a person in general. She just told the news wonderful. Um, but I worked there first, so that was a good start. And then I got an opportunity to work at ESPN. It was definitely challenging, especially when I first got up there with fitting into that new environment, being very southern, going up north, learning the ways up there, even learning my way in the industry. And that's really where
So
my
wait. Yeah, I'm from Connecticut. So what do you say? What are you talking about? The ways of what kind of way? What kind of ways did they have up there? Kara?
well, not particularly the actual people in the neighborhood, but the
Oh,
Connecticut
okay.
people in the
ESPN.
yeah, because people in Connecticut are cool, you know what I mean? I didn't
Okay.
at
All
first I
right.
couldn't find no black people, but I don't know why when I first got there, what
Well,
people
up
at?
there, up in Bristol, no, there's not too many of them. But if you come down closer to New
Oh,
Haven,
I know where they at now.
oh, okay, all
Bridgeport,
right, yeah, Bridgeport, yeah,
Hartford.
yeah, Hartford,
Yeah, I found you. I found
okay, all right,
y'all.
we out there. Hmm.
Yeah, definitely. But after like a couple of weeks, I found the black people. I don't know what was going on though, I'm telling you. But yeah, but it was just challenging at first. But it was really the stomping grounds where I was able to learn a lot and grow. But it was one of those jobs where some days it felt like a job and other days it just felt really amazing. Like
Mm.
sometimes I would come to work and they would have a full barbecue out on the lawn, like
Wow.
on the cement. And it's just like, let me go ahead and put my stuff up. Let me go back out there. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't have shame. I can say if something's free, I get totally excited. I have to tell myself,
Oh
calm
yeah.
down. It's not gonna leave. It's free. You know what I mean? But it would just be so much fun. One
Yeah.
day I came to work, they had the X Games skateboarders outside. They had made ramps and everything. I saw
Wow.
Nigel Houston, I think that's how you say his last name. Nigel, the black guy who was, he been a skateboarder since he was a
Yeah,
young. He
I
has the
remember.
dread. He cut him off now, but I met him. I thought that was totally cool. I mean, to see him out there skateboarding. I told him to stop messing up in the competitions at the last moment. He laughed. So like some days you come to work and it's just fun. I mean, I saw Chris Rock one time walk by, um, met T.I. Lil Wayne several times, you meet people and you get to confirm to yourself, are they as cool as you think? And for the most part, most people are cool. Especially the athletes. Most athletes are really down to earth. And
I was
I
going to ask you, you're a sports person also, right? You're a fan of certain sports, is that correct? So you got to rub shoulders, or what was your access to different athletes? Did you get to meet quite a few of them as well?
well back then in my I was in my younger days too. I was more outspoken. I'm outspoken now, but I was definitely, I was young. I felt like I looked good. I felt good. You know what I mean? So I was more out there. I wasn't afraid to talk. So
Right.
I made sure I got to see people and speak to people. Are you asking me what was one of my favorite moments or?
Not necessarily, just athletes in general. Was that a big part of, or did you get to rub shoulders with the athletes? Because that's the business that, ESPN is
Oh
in.
yeah, I got to rub shoulders with athletes all the time. I mean, whether I'm doing college football raps or basketball raps, sometimes I was a camera person, which I didn't do camera a lot later on in my career. But I started out I was a jib operator, so um, I did some of the most popular shows on there, and I was an A2, so I actually got to mic up the people. So, you know, um, I got to meet some big people like what's his name, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Right.
I thought it was cool meeting him because when I was playing basketball in high school, Daddy would always be like, "Shoot the hook like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar," and
Yeah.
Right.
I remember I actually tried to do it in a game, so I'm down there at the post, right? And I had to dribble out in order to be able to do the hook. My
Right.
pulled me out of the game. It was like, why would you back out? And I'm thinking, I'm trying to do Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. I was I was trying to make space, and my coach was like, well, "You was right under you needed to just lay it up." But so I had never tried to do that again. So I wanted to tell Kareem, but I didn't. But
Wow.
yeah.
Kara, do you think you could have made it in basketball, like had you kept going?
Um, I think I could have played somewhere in college. I don't know how far I would have went after that because it's like I was very physical. But my conditioning, I think, and I don't even think it's because I didn't work. I just think some people just don't get over a certain level of conditioning. You know what I mean? Like I'm not
Yeah.
like definitely tough though. I could,
Oh yeah.
I ain't had no problem with that, but just to be doing it all the time. I don't know, but I definitely love the game. It's something that I thought that I would have been doing for so many years. But it didn't
Yeah.
that way. But I got over it because I see how those girls can sometimes get hurt. They just now, if you ask me now, I wish I was young enough to play now because now they get money in college and everything. And
Right.
I would have been everywhere trying to make me some money, having my voice out there and stuff. So these girls now having it, man. They living the life like.
Yes.
They living a life. I be wanting to ask athletes now, just thinking like how much money they could have made. You understand what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah,
Think
absolutely.
about Deion Sanders or something in high school or LeBron James in high school being able to make money. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's crazy.
So you mentioned some of the pros of your profession. Have you ever just met a celebrity that was attitudinal, just had an attitude and just had to deal with that? And how did how did you deal with it? Did you go out in the car cuss? Did you just ignore it? What did you do? Like some of the things that you may have ran into.
You know what? I haven't really met a celebrity that was just rude per se. I met celebrities who look over you. You know what I
Mm,
mean?
Yeah.
But I look at it like this. If they're a celebrity 24/7 and they're always in this world, I'm in this world from the time I clock in and check out. But if they're
Right.
constantly a celebrity, it may not even be conscious to them. It may just be like this person's putting on my mic. I'm just here to talk to the person on the set. But for me, I guess being Southern and having manners, you would think somebody if you're want to put something on their outfit, they would could at least say hello. I remember I met Kevin Costner. He wouldn't say hello for nothing. Like I could have spit in his face and he didn't say hello. And I'm just like, I like you too, Kevin Costner. I'm like, screw you, Kevin Costner. You know what I mean? Like, but he wasn't mean. He just didn't acknowledge me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I have to say the musicians and the athletes are the most down to earth. The actors and stuff, it depends on who you get. Like I said, they never been nasty. They just don't seem to know you here. But people on TV, anchors too, and maybe this is everybody's job when people are a level above you as far as title. I think sometimes have a tendency to just have a view like this. That's something I
Yeah.
have to check myself with and not take it personally. I mean, because I don't know why some people do that. I mean, but some people that's on the TV who aren't the celebrities who are just the anchors, they have that thing too where they don't really acknowledge you. But for the most part, people are good.
Yeah. We don't really play that in the South. Acknowledgement is big in the South. I don't care whether you're rich, poor, black, or white. I don't know what it is about that, but if you don't acknowledge us, we do take that as disrespect because it is a form of disrespect. But yeah, do y'all guys feel the same way? Acknowledgement is big.
Are you asking me? I'm a northerner. I'm not familiar.
Well, I'll
We
say
have bad manners in the north.
yes, y'all do. But Izzy, I go through this every day. You know, I work a regular job also, and you can tell people did not have that same upbringing or that same neighborhood um, dynamic where acknowledgement does mean a lot to us. You know, if it's just the heads up or the what's going on, and people sometimes don't answer back. I assume that they are from elsewhere, not from at least not from Georgia.
That's true. And
Yeah.
every time, not every time, but most times when I have felt like that, it has been someone not from here.
Wow.
And that has been my outlook on people that come from up north. It just a factor of just, I don't know, rudeness. It's just
Well,
not.
I had an
I won't say
ex-girlfriend.
rudeness,
Yeah, I had an
but
ex-girlfriend. She came to me one day and she was telling me about this guy at her job who didn't speak to her, and she was really offended, so offended that she had to tell me about it. And when she got home, and I said he doesn't really owe you anything to where he has to speak to you, and she just couldn't get it. But it is a cultural thing, and yeah, we're going to experience that for people from, especially people from different countries. Also, it's just not a part of
yeah,
their culture. Yeah.
that is another thing. And I'm not trying to get off subject, but yeah, like I've noticed that about other cultures. Like they don't say thank you. They don't say you're welcome. They rarely speak. They barely speak. And I've had to tell a lot of because I've befriended a couple of Indians at some of these stores I go to pretty often. Like they know me by my first name. So it's not me looking down on anyone, but I just know it is a cultural difference. But the more Americanized they are, they pretty much done got hip to how we are, especially in the South. So they communicate better. But yeah, the ones that are fresh here and don't know that much, yeah, English, they don't know how to speak. And I've had to tell them, especially if the location is kind of iffy, you might want to you might you might want to start bring your tone down a little bit and start being a little nicer. And I've had a few that have took me up on that offer because it's just a difference in culture. So I let them know that though. I don't just get rude with them and hey, you didn't acknowledge me or say this or that. I actually let them know we don't do that here or we do this here. You need to understand that because if we was in their culture in their country of origin, they would expect us to assimilate, and so I expect the same thing. But
I
yeah,
agree.
yeah,
Really.
yeah.
RJ,
But
RJ say something?
No,
Oh,
I'm just taking it all in.
he's offended right now because we
No,
got
I'm not offended.
we got
Honestly,
three.
I've been in the South longer than I've
Oh,
been in
okay.
the North. So
Yeah.
I guess I'm a
Okay.
hybrid Southerner. So at this
Yeah.
point,
Yeah.
And well, when I lived in New York, I did notice because it was a bodega down my street, like, of course, right at the corner. And it took a month or two for them to start saying hello. Because like
Wow.
New Yorkers have to see you more than once or twice.
right. We got to
And
know you. Yeah,
yeah,
we got to.
like, and then after a while, it was like, hey, where you been? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? So they just it's not gonna be like one time you walk in the bar and your family, they ain't gonna do you like
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
Yeah. And that's what I love about the South. Like racism aside, we do have a welcoming culture, whether it's authentic or not. I think it is authentic for the most part,
Mhm.
even authentic in that we've done it so much, whether a person may have issue with you, but we still because if you just look at a person and y'all catch eyes, you speak. That is
Exactly.
the rule. It just that simple. And if they don't, it's like, what this MF for? I know they just, you know what I mean? It's like
Yeah,
it's a problem. So
right.
I do love that about the South, regardless of whatever we go through culturally or racially down here. We do have a very welcoming, and I'm talking about mainly across the whole Southern. I mean, it's from my experience, it's the same way across the South. So that's what I love about the South and about our Southern people. So yeah. But I did have another question as far as your career,
I want to
Kara.
laugh. What's up?
You want to laugh?
No, I
No,
like
I
to
ain't.
hear your question. It's just funny. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I actually see because one of the resolutions we did a show and we was saying what we appreciated in 2024 about our lives, and we also talked about our failures and our weaknesses, but we also talked about what we wanted to do coming into 2025 as far as what we wanted to improve. And one of mine was with my craft, which is music, making jewelry, and this podcast. So I was very prepared because that was one of the things like I told RJ and Diedrich, I know I've been slipping on. So I'm just trying to increase the percent of time that I put into my craft. So yes, I definitely came prepared for you today.
And we
Oh
definitely
yeah,
see the
it's
difference
evident,
and
brother.
definitely
It's
appreciate it. I'm proud of you, bro.
So my next question would be, if you could go back, we know the path you took. Is there a career that you would like to have tried if you could have? That was my next question.
Mm.
Be anything.
Yeah, I wanted to do so much at different points of my life, but I always feel like I'm genuine about it because it's really a passion. Um, of course, I would say preaching would probably be one, but you have to live so strict. So
Yeah,
you
shit,
feel
not in this day and age.
but that's how seriously I would want to take it. You know what I mean? And then secondly, um, the basketball, but now like who want to? But I would have been retired by now anyway because I'm like thinking about my body now. Who want to be running up and down the court? So,
You look like a basketball coach right now. I could see you doing
Yeah.
oh, I see that. Yeah. I don't know. Something that makes some money. That's all I can tell you.
that.
Well, either one of those paths you could have made some money. You probably would make more money being a preacher the way they living right about now with these mega churches and the prosperity preachers. You might would have been a millionaire by now.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have wanted to be a mega church person, but maybe being a speaker, like, going around speaking at places, I think it's something still, now I don't want to use the word cozy, but something, um, it just feels better like at a smaller church. I never been to a mega church, but I don't know. It depends on who delivering the message, and before I even would listen to a preacher, it's got to be somebody that I like anyway. I don't just listen to everybody. Like I don't really. They say his message is good, but when I look at somebody like Joel Osteen, somebody him I just don't like. Um,
His
so I
message
mean, I
is
don't know.
good.
He looked like Jim Carrey when he used to pretend to be a preacher. I don't know. He just seems snaky to me, and forgive me, God,
Oh,
I shouldn't say that, but but anyway, I like Tony Evans, Joyce Meyer, people like that. If I could just name a few people off the top of my head.
yeah. The reason people like him is because they preach prosperity, and in a time where people are hurting, with the dollar losing value, inflation, and prices going up, yeah, they want to hear about prosperity. They don't want to hear you going to hell for something. The time of uh Bible thumping and the preaching the book of Revelation, we don't really have preachers like that no more. Not that you're gonna see on TV.
Mm.
We don't have that. The preachers we have today are mainly motivational speakers. That's how I look at them, and that's all they are. Is motivational speaker. They just use the Bible to motivate you. So,
Yeah,
but
you got to be very careful between trying to get people's attention and then love and fame, and that's something I even
Mhm.
think about to myself when I'm doing things because the ideal of fame was nice to me, but I'm very aware that that don't need to be a motivation for something when it's supposed to be something pure, you know. So
Hmm.
it's
Absolutely.
you have to work out for yourself.
Absolutely.
So, Kara, behind you, we see your logo, Kara Dangerous Talk, which is your very entertaining podcast. I love your show. So, who have been some of your favorite interviewees?
Well, you know, too, I've taken a hiatus from Kera Dangerous Talk, but I hope to return maybe soon. You guys might have sparked a fire under me to get back out there.
I hope
Um,
so.
yeah, so I think just off the top of my head, of course, Victoria Rao from The Young and the Restless, who's
I
also
remember that.
a director, but I just grew up watching her on The Young and the Restless. She was one of the best actors I ever seen on daytime soaps, and hearing her story about how she was treated on set, and you know she sued CBS. But even the clip of my show went viral,
Right,
over 1,000 views. Other people posted it. So that was cool to see. I think even Neighborhood Talk or the Shade Room reposted it one time as well. So
nice.
mm, that was dope. You know, people like Royce the 5'9", being able to interview him just because he's somebody who sought me out. You know what I mean? He bought
Awesome.
t-shirt that I was selling, the no cooning shirt, and then we became cool, and he just was so open and transparent in the conversation, you know, talking about, you know, some of his past struggles with alcoholism and working on music with his friend Eminem. um and so that was cool. Trying to give you one other big one.
I loved your
So
interactions with Lunel. That she's always a fun guest for you.
Oh yeah, that was definitely good one. Yeah.
I know that, yeah, that was a good one. I have to put that back out. I wish more people would have watched the episode. And you know, the first interview I did with Lil Nell was on Facebook Live before I had everything set up, and it was a really good interview. And unfortunately, it did not save, and I hate that because it was
Oh,
so funny. Like we said, and it's probably because we were saying some crazy stuff. It was during COVID. I mean, we talked about the Kardashians. I mean, she was just going, you know, she was on a roll. And I really hate that didn't show. I mean, another guest I'd say I've enjoyed interviewing Bill Cosby's spokesperson, Andrew Wyatt. And that's
Hmm.
because so many other people would not cover it. A lot of the underground black media did, but the major networks that are supposed to be black facing, they didn't want to cover it. So I think that it was a story that needed to be covered. And I don't know why they didn't want to cover it, because whatever side you was, you could have covered it, or especially being that how much he had given to those different people in the
mm,
past. But you know, I
right.
guess it's wet down for me lately. And I actually got a chance to speak to Bill Cosby over the phone, which to
Wow.
some people it may not mean nothing, but I mean, it's still Bill Cosby at the end of the day.
Right.
Well, to that though, I mean, I mean, I had various opinions on that, but I think, you know, as far as like the Bill Cosby thing, you know, the media had already put in the verdict for us that, you know, this man
Right.
was guilty, and that was it. So we really didn't get to really hear, you know, Bill Cosby's side, but that's, you know, another topic, I guess. But you know,
Yeah, we was also, some of us select people are supposed to be invited as a media day to come to his Philadelphia home, I believe.
hmm.
That hasn't happened yet, but is, as in the words of Ron Hurt the third, who y'all seen me do shows, we're still waiting for Andrew Wyatt for that invitation. Yeah.
All right. So, in recent days, we've seen the scandal at Fox Sports with Joy Taylor, Manuel Acho, and the thing with Skip Bayless. Uh, how prominent are those types of activities in the industry, as far as you know? And alleged,
Allegedly, right?
right?
Yeah, because those are some people that I know, not personally, but work wise in the past. But you know, so of course, you know, some of those things you won't hear about, but you
Yeah.
can observe and, you know, see certain people spending time with certain people. Um, there was a time I saw somebody, an athlete, I'm not gonna name a name, spending time with somebody on a makeup team, like
Mhm.
coming in from a little too close, and that person with somebody else, and it's like, come on, I wasn't born yesterday. I don't know about nobody else, but and then later it comes out. But I have to say too, not to make an excuse for anybody, and I'm talking about people who aren't married, by the way,
Yeah,
because I mean, marriage you supposed to have your rules or whatever, but in a place, especially like ESPN, it's a huge campus. I have to say, some of these other networks you may work for, it may just be one building. ESPN was like going to a college
right.
as far as the going into work. And so, we spend so many hours at work that it's commonplace for somebody to date somebody at work, or I mean, and you have to go through the right channels to let that be known or whatever. But it's just like, how you gonna deal with it, some people should just keep it on the road, but when people start doing inappropriate things, that's a whole nother level. But like I said, I think sometimes people do know things, but maybe something as big as this one, it might have been kept a secret besides their homeboy or homegirl or whatever, you know.
Yeah, and of course, it's not specific to the news industry or the television. Wherever you work, you're going to see these things happen. People tend to date, whether married or not, people that they work with. It happens. So
Easy
it's
access.
just go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt you. I was just gonna say easy access, and sometimes people are only
Yeah,
as faithful with their options.
exactly, exactly.
I
Very
thought he said
true.
easy asses, but I was like, oh, okay. That too. You're right.
That
Easy
too. That
asses.
too.
Mhm.
Kara, you
Yeah.
spend a lot of time online, and a little me recently, to my stupid self, I spoke on a post that someone had done about a chess puzzle. We talk a lot about chess on this podcast, and it was people's. I was wrong basically, and people attacked me, and I sort of doubled down, and I
Oh,
was
so
so
you online
wrong
and attack you?
online. Yes, yes. So yeah, it was very embarrassing, and I had to eventually um,
Delete.
silence the notifications. I didn't delete it. But have you ever had an experience where you've embarrassed yourself or been attacked online?
You know what? And the word embarrassing is funny for me, because I used to say I didn't get embarrassed, but I have had moments where I have. But I don't know if I would use the word embarrassed, but just recently, and I can't even remember what the post was about. But you ever like make a comment on something and it's like 3 months ago, and some butthole decides to say something real flamey to you all of a sudden?
Absolutely.
"Yeah,
Yes.
this was 3 months ago." So I went through a little thing in my mind, because I'm like, I do not want to get suspended off of Instagram, because they will suspend Black people or whatever, or put you in jail, Facebook jail. So I decided to go off on this person, and I normally don't, but I said, I even told the person, I was like, normally I don't even respond this way, but I'm about to respond this way, blah 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 blah. And I think I went back and maybe blocked them or something, and then it was over. But I don't like when people just, it seems like people just go online and just be rude or just say something nasty to you. And it's just like, you're not gonna do that in person. So why is the first thing you want to do is just be nasty? So
Yeah.
sometimes if I go on a post and I see comments and people going back and forth, I go to the one person that I disagree with, and I'll actually try to explain to them what the real answer is. And more than once, the person has come back to me and said, you know what? I'm gonna listen to you because you're the one person who didn't curse me out or call me out my name. I've had people say that, and they was like,
Right.
they said, now I realize that that is the correct answer. But they said I wasn't getting that from the other people because all I could hear was them being nasty to me. So I think sometimes we have to pause and understand, like, stuff we expect people to know. How people like, oh, you so stupid. How you don't know that? They may not know. Like,
Yeah, exactly.
everybody's not on the same level as us, so that may just be something they're unlearned in.
Yeah. I've definitely experienced that online.
I
I
know you
mean,
have.
I've been attacked by like a beehive of women. Like if you just expressing your opinion on anything related with the feminine, anything. Like, yeah, I mean that, of course, racial issues, But one thing I was, it's a lot of cowards online, and it's only indicative of the society we live in, man. Like Kara said, you would not say what you say to me online in person. You wouldn't. You just wouldn't. But as far as being embarrassed of something I put on there, I usually check my facts before I just say something under something because people are fact checkers now. Person that don't even read a book would go Google something just to try to, say you wrong about something. So I can't say I've been embarrassed, but I've definitely been attacked for something I've said online. As far as being banned, I stay getting banned. So I mean, I've been banned off Facebook, Instagram, not Twitter, but definitely Instagram. They stay. I just got reprimanded the other day because I responded to somebody. But yeah,
Our own little
that's
rebel.
Yeah,
yeah.
because somebody wrote to me at the end and said, "And worry about your little podcast." I was like, "Yo, no." Like, I
Worry
want
about
I want to correct Dietrich on something earlier when you gave my title. I was
Sure.
I'm a floor manager, and a technician, lead technician now in television. I was a project manager, in the audio visual industry for events. So like, throwing events and whatnot.
Gotcha.
I just want to
Do
correct that.
do you want to go into your current position? I know you don't. We don't want to say the name of the company you're working for now, but can you tell us a little bit more about what you do currently for a living?
Yeah, so I work for one of the major news stations, and I'm a floor manager and a technician. So basically it's kind of like it's taking some of those things I used to do as a project manager at my previous job as far as keeping things on track. So there's a studio crew that works in the studio with the talent who's doing the news, and basically, I'm making sure that everything runs smoothly. Like when you see shows, like let's say just Wendy Williams, and you see people telling the crowd to, get ready, they coming back. I don't have to do that in my job because I don't have a live studio audience, but that's kind of liking to what I do. I'm on the set. I'm making sure the guests get on set on time. They're getting off the set. Um, Making sure they're seated in the right places. Basically being a extra component for the director to make sure things are ran properly on the floor so that the show can go on without a hitch there, if that makes sense. So
Pretty cool.
yeah, and
So
keeping
yeah,
the time, you know?
go ahead. I'm sorry.
So you make sure things go smoothly then.
Yep, we're going to break. We'll be back in 2 minutes. I have to yell that out. Stand by, counting the talent in to the show, out of packages. If there's equipment failures or errors going on during the show, being able to reach out to the correct people to jump on it quickly so we can, get it resolved. Just throughout the day, making sure the crew has what they need, and we're making sure everything's, like you said, just making sure everything's running efficiently.
I
Nice.
had a joke, but I wasn't gonna say it.
Oh, okay.
What do you get paid for, Kara? Yeah, we're going on breaking too.
No, it's funny because me and my coworker was like, he was saying if he bring his daughter to work, she'll be like, "Daddy, how do what do you do at work? Just babysitting other adults and just filling out numbers." It may not seem like a lot, but it comes with its own stressors. People always say television isn't brain surgery, but to be honest with you, a lot of days they treat it like it is.
Yeah. But people always feel like that when they don't work in a certain field. People so cynical. So
No, well,
Yeah,
people in television, they when you get stressed out about it, they say, well, it's not brain surgery, but it's because everybody is treating it like it is hyper important. You know what I mean?
Right.
So yeah, it's a big thing.
So,
so
Kara,
Kira,
we started doing these interviews because I knew a lot of people who have what I would consider different types of jobs or interesting stories. And I thought that you would be great for this because a lot of people, especially from my hometown, from your hometown, they see television as this big star in the sky that only special people get to participate in. And that's because they only think about the actors or the news anchors. If you were talking to, let's say, a high school student, or someone fresh out of high school, what advice would you give them to get to where you are, with you're making a living doing television? What advice would you give to them to get to that point?
Well, I think if they have the opportunity, if they can work for a year or so in local news, because local news is a good stomping ground, and they most of the time they have enough time to train you on different things, and you'll have more access to training in different areas. Like they may have enough time to show you how to be a producer, they may have enough time to show you how to direct or TD. Whereas if you start off at a bigger station, you may have to wait a certain amount of time to learn this, or they may just want you to focus over here so you're not getting the opportunity. You know what I mean? Like everything has to kind of align. It depends on what kind of training program they have. I mean, so and then look into internships. Um and network. Sometimes networking doesn't work. I mean, people can say what they want, but you could be looking for one person to help you, but it always be another person, and that's fine because sometimes that's how things work. But getting out there, talking to people, meet people who are doing what you want to be doing, surround yourself with that, and just knowing that it is attainable. Because sometimes people think those things that are in entertainment are not attainable, but you have to do your research and really know what you're getting into. And you don't always have to go to school either to be in television. Like I said, if you take the local news route, or you just learn yourself how to do certain things and get an opportunity doing it, then you can kind of just build your resume up that way. I mean, of course, I would always say, if you can go to school, but otherwise, you have to know how to hustle and get yourself into those doors that you need to get into. I mean, I know somebody at ESPN who make good money and who very smart at what they do, and they didn't go to school, and they just there, and they doing their thing. So
now I've met a couple other than you. I've met a lot of people that have gone to full sail, so it seemed to be a good school. Would you suggest full sail for someone that would like to maybe go that direction?
that's a good question. Yeah, Full Sail is a good school. I definitely enjoyed myself there. They put all the creatives there, so it's a bunch of weird people there, a lot of fun.
Mhm.
You go to class at any time of the day or night. They try to make it really feel like you're in that world. Yeah, it can be pricey too, just like the other colleges. So I always tell people, do your research, make sure that's what you really want to do because there are other options too. I mean, of course, I'm an alumni and I like the school, so I want to promote them, but I want to be realistic. If you feel like that's too much money for you, there are other options. There are other schools you could go to because the basis is that you're just going somewhere and learning what you need to learn. Um, but Full Sail has all the good equipment. They have a lot of the equipment the industry's using. They even got equipment from the old days, well, at least when I was there, to show you what it used to be like as well. Hopefully it's still like that. It's much bigger when I went there. When I went there, I was like one of the only girls there, like probably like five or six girls, so it's really has grown. It's a beautiful school. But yeah, I definitely would. I mean, look online at their website, even go take a tour. You'll be amazed. I think I was crying after the tour because I wanted to go there so bad. It really, the tour really blows you away.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Very
but yeah, it would be good if you could endorse them and get paid from that.
Right. It would be.
Yeah.
But they got a
But
lot of big alumni that come from there. They do a ceremony where they have a Hall of Fame where they put people in there. So they probably got some people that maybe already do it.
What can we look forward to from Miss KD in the next 5 years?
Ooh, well, I'm definitely going to be trying to elevate the brand of Kera in some other kind of way. Um, so really want to start doing more with my business. I think that's one of the things that's missing. Some people are just creative people or just people that need an extra outlet, and I believe I'm one of those people. So, I think that I work hard with this logo right here. So I'm probably not gonna see this end. It's gonna be a resurgence in some kind of way. And probably more than just the podcast. Um, so I'm excited about that. And just trying to be better and get better. That's all. I think I'm just thankful for life and health, and my grandmother, our grandmother just passed recently, and I asked her, I said, "Grandma, you said I was gonna be rich," and said, "Well," she giggled and she said, "Well, you can because I said, Grandma, what happened to that?" And she said, "Well, if it happens, you can say your grandma told you." And so, um, I feel like not that good things are only due to money, but I feel like abundance in even more ways can still happen. And so I'm open to seeing where I go in the next 5 years. I don't know. Just gonna be working on stuff, Deidre.
All right,
Thinking.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
I see beautiful things coming your way for sure, for sure.
I appreciate you guys having me on. It feels like we're near the end here, and I will invite y'all over to Kara Dangerous Talk one of these days and have some cool topics for us to talk about.
Cool.
Absolutely.
I wanted to get a commitment from you, Kara, before you go.
Commitment for what?
I feel like it'll be a travesty if you and I leave from this earth and not complete a project. We need to complete a project together. I don't care if it's just an LP, just maybe 5, 6 songs, or whatever, but we need to do that. And I was just talking to Cody earlier. We want to get you on this project that we'll be releasing around about end of February or March, and definitely want to get you on there. Maybe that'll get your creative juices flowing as far as the music again, because you are a talent, and so I just want you to know that that's what I want to happen, and we stay in different places, but we'll make it happen however we can. So
All right, sounds good to me. We talked about it. We'll talk about it again.
okay.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Kara, we love you. We honor you. We appreciate you coming on the show and hope to see many great things from you in the future. Thanks to everybody who's joined us. Please hit subscribe and so that you can see more interviews like this, and go ahead and hit the like button. RJ, any closing thoughts?
And Kara Dangerous Talk. Wait, Kara Dangerous Talk on YouTube.
We're going to put
That's
a
right.
link. We're going to put a link in the description and to some of your other stuff also. No doubt.
Thank you,
Yeah.
guys.
We'll go ahead and close it out. It's been great. We love you again. Thanks for joining us. This is Of Two Mindsets and Kara Dangerous. Y'all go check her out and look at all of her great projects. Just want to say peace.
Peace.
Peace.